All right. This gonna be interesting. I mean, that's why you're here, right? Welcome to Beyond the Algorithm yet again. Touch grass.
Why did I have as many kids as I had? Because I wanted to start my own family. And I wanted a big family. No, I did not plan my kids. I did not plan none of my kids. It just
Smoke
happened.
detector.
I planned one of my kids, and that was 80. Anybody else was not planned. It just happened.
I want to say something that is probably already obvious, but you playing your kids. If you ain't got no protection on, you planning for kids. And you talking about kids and you're not talking about husbands, so you talking about planning kids.
Honestly, I like to fuck, okay? We being realistic here. I like to fuck. And
Tell
it
the
just
truth.
happened. I didn't go up the road. I didn't, unalive them. Didn't get an abortion. I didn't do that. I chose to keep them. I believe in you lay down to make them, lay down to take care. Stand up and take care. Be a woman and take care of your kids.
There'll be days you feel heavy when your strength wears thin. But baby, even flowers need rain to begin.
So there's been a rash of content creators that have just decided to make kids and in irresponsible situations with no men involved other than the biological donation that of the men that they chose. And then I think that the only way that they can make it make sense is content creation. But before all of this, social media, I don't know, the window on this type of stuff will be like, why would you do this at this point? But with social media, it's another way to monetize kids and traffic their image.
Merely said we listen and we don't judge. I have 9 kids from 9 different baby daddies at 28 years old. I don't work, I'm on Section 8, and I get EBT. Thinking that people were gonna be on her side. You continually had kids while you were in poverty, and then not only that, you had different men around your children for multiple years. Are these fathers still involved in those kids' lives? Like, we do know the psychology of how important it is to have fathers around for young men and young women, right? And you don't work? Some people have like, bro, honestly, be so for real.
Y'all, just a few days ago, I said, if you got on here,
Look, at this stage, man, it's a mental illness. I don't care what nobody says. There's a lot of undiagnosed mental illnesses that get uncovered every day. So I think you have to grade stuff based on outcome and behavior. But like, if you are producing children in poverty situations, it just goes to show you that you know that you're going to have a system to take advantage of to help you raise them. And typically speaking, this behavior is always, and I will always say this, it is more prominent from the single parent households where there were no men or weak men and overmothered households that create promiscuous children that raise promiscuous children because the baby daddy and baby mama population comes from this behavior.
had a specific type of content, you can go viral on this goddamn app or any other platform because it's always going to be a relatable topic that's talked about. Didn't I say that? Why did I just see, and it's always on TikTok, why did I just see a lady that got 9 kids with 9 different daddies? So you mean to tell me you made a poor decision, not one time, not twice, but you chose the 3rd through the 9th time?
Get them. See, this is the type of dialogue I expected to happen. I said about 4 years ago that nothing will change about the the level of shame that is necessary to keep people in line until women started addressing women. And this is what I'm talking about. Some of it's too far gone, and I think a lot of women are starting to recognize what men's complaints are actually about. Because if they've done the right thing and raised their kids, regardless of what situation or what home structure they came up in, they can just sense what's irresponsible. Because see, this is the thing too. Women that fit this behavior of the 9x9, they would still not encourage their kids to do what they did. So why are you performing it as an adult, as a parent that's responsible for setting examples for your own children? That's where there's no accountability at all, because I'm seeing immature parents access the internet and really project themselves as though that these things just happen to them. And the more you hear it, you understand like why you remember going to school and girls were faking pregnancies. Like, I understand it is a biological thing, but when you don't have a father in the household, because I guarantee you, I feel very confident that whoever this woman's father is, that's in the first video, his influence is minimal or absent or has been completely removed by the mother.
It's a mental illness. It's
Come
a
on.
mental illness at this point.
Yes, it's a mental illness.
Ain't no way you got 9 kids by 9 different.
It is poor sexual discipline is a mental illness. I will never not say that.
I was trying to figure out if it was a whole goddamn lie, but I don't think it's a lie. I know I swiffle. I don't think it's a lie. 9 kids by 9 different. I breathe a whole lot on this damn app. And y'all always talking about we listen and we don't judge. How in the hell we supposed to teach the next batch of women something if you got mismanaged? You know what?
Single mother of one thing I'll never understand is how people didn't learn their lesson the first time when it comes to having children, because I definitely did. My child is my everything. That's my life. He's equivalent to my heartbeat and the air that I breathe. And because I love him so much, I'm going to do everything I can to ensure that my future and his future is successful. Having kids back to back by different men is not going to ensure his success nor the success of my future children. A lot of people should have that mindset, but apparently they don't. Because on this app is 9 kids with 9 baby daddies at 28. The next second is 7 kids with 7 baby daddies at 27 in a hotel. Like, it's so many people that continuously show that they're irresponsible with their uterus. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having a big family if you can support that big family. But if you can't, you're doing a disservice to your kids by not giving them the quality of life that they deserve. Because first of all, when do you even have the time to date all these men? Having 9 baby daddies, that's work. That's not easy. Dealing with that many men back to back to back shows that your priorities are all over the place, because that time that you're spending with those men could be with your children, first off. Secondly, you're teaching your kids instability because you're having all these different men coming in and out their life, and then you're creating all these broken homes by having all these children with these men that you know not gonna marry you. And then you're impeding on their quality of life, like I said, because really, how good of a life are they living having that many kids under one roof that you know you can't financially support? And that's where you're coming on TikTok showing that you're struggling. And we all know there's no possible way for you to be attentive to 9 kids by yourself. We all know that those older kids is helping with the younger kids, which is another concept I'll never understand. Like, why do you have kids and then have your older kids be parents to your young kids?
And this is why you hear a lot of women that are raised in single parent structures going no contact with their mothers, not having kids. If they get to the discipline side of their life and they recognize that they don't want to repeat the patterns that they was raised with, because children can tell when it ain't right. Bottom line.
They did not give birth to, you did. All the way around is not fair to those kids. So for the women that got 1 million kids by 1 million different baby daddies, stop trying to find you a husband, because if he wanted to wife you, he would have did it already. And learn how to boss up for your kids, because that's what your kids deserve, not a new stepdaddy and sibling every year.
And here's my theory, and I could be completely wrong, and the internet probably gonna destroy me for this, but I think women that have more than 2 baby daddies usually have some sort of mental illness.
Really?
Yeah, because you're getting genetically modified too much.
Right, when you-
I think, okay, so this is what I know. Every time you get pregnant, right, there's stem cells that come from that baby. And them stem cells end up behind your eyes and your brain and your heart and your lungs and stuff and help your organs heal while the baby taken from you. And those stem cells will always stay with you, right? So that means that man is always in you. And that is why,
Ooh,
that
that makes
the Bible says you will only desire your husband. Correct. This is why you gotta use condoms, because that baby batter get up inside you, and the uterus is very porous, much like the mouth, right? So when anything goes up in there, it automatically the uterus starts to absorb it. It starts going through the vaginal walls and all that, and the blood it gets into the bloodstream, right? And so so it takes
get in there.
So it takes like 6 weeks to get a man out of your system if you have unprotected sex, and it's because he's starting to bind to your DNA, right? And that's why it's couples when they be together too long, they start looking alike. You start looking like him.
Wow.
Like it's not the guy don't start looking like her. She start looking like him because he is genetically modifying her. And every time you get pregnant by him, you start to get modified, right? So if you get pregnant by multiple peoples, right, that's multiple spirits, multiple thoughts, multiple modifications from a different DNA strain to have mental stress. So it's very evident. Like what I'm saying is very evident and makes sense because like you got all these dating apps, all these women like free sex, free this, whatever, I'm doing money, I'm living it, I'm exerting my sexuality and all this, and I don't care if I got 5 kids or 5 baby daddies, whatever. Usually those bitches are mentally, they're struggling in so many different ways, not just financially, but also just like on where to focus, how to whatever, because you got too many different bloodlines in your blood.
Too many.
That's why the kids be looking like friends. They don't even look related. Yeah, I saw somebody commenting on Steph Curry and his family with Dale Curry and Aisha Curry, and then somebody was clowning and saying, look at all the kids looking alike. Well, they used to so many kids looking like friends instead of looking related.
Kids, I mean, yeah, that'll do it, man.
You have mental illness. So that was my theory on sperm.
That makes sense. That's very, very.
And that's why
So
you can't
deep.
just,
Sorry,
that's why you
sleep.
have to use condoms, ladies. That's why you have to use condoms. We cannot genetically modify men. Now,
just lay with someone and then expect to have a whole life, because you're going to pick up who they are and you're going to become who they are. You're going to exchange energy. So you have to look at that person and say, am I willing to be them, a part of them?
Now think about what Tiffany Haddish just said when she said you getting genetically modified by him, right? And then she just said, are you ready to be him? It lines up.
Real commitment.
Many women are going to conceive because of that intercourse, that connection. And then they end up saying, well, why? I don't want to have a baby. I don't want to be this man, or I don't want to be this woman. But you made the biggest commitment, which is to enter into each other's lives, into each other's canal, into each other's consciousness. So what are we merging with? Do you know if the person is a serial killer, is an abuser? Do you know if that person is violent, whatever the state is? Because that is going to be the true sexual connection.
This has been another episode of Beyond the Algorithm. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Go get the book. And most importantly, I will see you beyond the algorithm, because that's where life actually happens. Later.